Hey, it's Dr. Karen Can, and this may be the last episode in the series Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. So, this is actually episode 52. So, I promised to do a whole year of weekly videos of healthy habits. And today's topic is perception kung fu. Now, if this sounds familiar, it could be because it's actually a chapter in my Sensitivity is Your Superpower book, as well as one of the modules, one of the workshop activities that we do at the Light Warrior Training Camp, which is my in person 5-day immersion on activating your superpowers. That's the Light Warrior Training Camp. And in fact, I'll do a little mini commercial as of this recording. In 2023, it's going to be at the end of May, beginning of June. So May 28th is when folks come on in to the camp, and then from Monday to Friday we actually do these camp immersion activities to really activate your superpowers, and perception kung fu is one of those. Now, what is that exactly? Well, I like to say that it is a method, a technology, a tool, whatever you want to call it, that helps us become masterful at manifesting what it is we desire. And this isn't like meditation per se, or using a wishing sphere or using ascension 3 jewelry or anything like that. It literally is something that helps you practice your awareness and be able to see that everything in the world that is happening around you, whether you feel you have any say in what happens, or whether you feel or don't feel that you caused it, contributed to it, etc., that everything that happens around you, to you, with you, is actually in some way, shape, or form for your highest and greatest good. And you're like, how does that happen? If I trip over something and hit my knee and it's all swollen, how is that for my highest and greatest good, Dr. Karen? Right? Hear me out. So, perception kung fu is a way of perceiving whatever it is that you see in front of you as serving you in some way, shape, or form. Now, sometimes you have no idea how it serves you until later. The trick is, or the tip is, to be open to the possibility that it is serving you in some way. And you are, with curiosity, really looking for how it serves you. Now, why do we even bother doing perception kung fu? Well, one of the things is that we know, at least from masterful manifestors and people that are masters at manifesting, is that we manifest what we think about, what we dream about, what we energetically are surrounding ourselves around, more than what it is we're not paying attention to. So the more you pay attention to something, the more likely you are to manifest more of that thing. So if you are reacting, that means an unconscious emotional reaction to whatever is happening. What happens is that there is greater amounts of energy going towards that particular manifestation or 3D manifestation. So, give you an example. This is a real life example. So, yesterday we opened up the mail, and we got our taxes for the town. And what was very interesting was that the taxes was like, property taxes were like 5,000 something, something, something. And last year it was only 2,300 and something, 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 right? So that is quite a jump in a year. Now, I don't really know why it's higher. I don't have last year's bill in front of me. I did notice that certain things were increased like by 20, almost 20%, like the fire, something about, not firemen, like fire emergency service, something like that, right? Maybe their budget went up. I don't have no idea how that works, since they're all volunteer firefighters, and so I'm not sure why there's a 20% increase. And that may or may not be the reason. The point is that I had a choice, and we always have a choice how we react or respond to anything. Now, the old me would have opened up this letter and noticed the more than double, tax burden, if you will, and would have been like, what the F is going on here? And get on my high horse and start making calls. And of course, it's the weekend, so that's not going to work. And going, what's going on? And start commiserating and complaining and talking to my neighbors about it, things like that. Now, I might still talk to my neighbors, but not in that energy. However, I know that anything that comes in my sphere of influence is a potential thing to actually help push me further along in my evolutionary journey and towards what it is I do want, which is, or do desire, which is like everybody else, health, abundance, prosperity, all those kinds of things. So I chose in that moment to, just forget about the reaction. This is just what is in this moment. This is the number 5,000 something, something, something on the page, right? I really didn't have an understanding of why it's that. So I didn't have clarity on that. And it's the weekend. So I won't get clarity today. So let it go. So in the back of my mind, perception kung fu says, okay, so this is not necessarily a desired outcome, right? Having doubled in property taxes. And how could this, here's the magic question, how could this potentially be for my highest and greatest good? So this is where we use that monkey mind of ours that tells us, oh, this is bad, or watch out for this, or the egoic mind is trying to save us, is trying to protect us, right? That part is the one that reacts. So if you give it something to do that's more constructive, and you say, basically in this case, to your mind, okay, so how could this be for my highest and greatest good? Then your mind goes, what? What? Like mid complaint, your mind goes, how could this be for? Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Right? And your mind just starts thinking about, well, how could it be for your highest greatest good? Okay, you've given me a problem and I am determined to solve it. Right? So my mind, to give you an example, it would be, how could it be for my highest greatest good? My taxes more than doubled. I could say things like, well, well, this could be an abundance challenge from the universe to see if I react in a negative way. And I'm passing this test, so I'm not reacting. Right? So the universe going, well done, Karen, well done, right? And so the other benefit of why this is for my highest greatest good is that I get to see a contrast between how I used to react and how far I've come. And sometimes that will be what it is. You could do something and something so-called bad would happen. And then if you're aware, you can go, oh, wow, the old me would have gone into complaining, commiserating, blaming, judging, shaming, whatever, right? And I'm choosing not to go there this time. And I'm just going to stay in that field of neutrality or curiosity. And you go, whoa, you've really grown. Yes, I have. So even just acknowledging that you've changed and grown and are a different person than you were a year ago, a month ago, a week ago is and can be really huge. So that does serve you. And how else could it serve? One could be creative here. In fact, in my Light Warrior training camp and some of the other camps and live events we've had some fun group sessions for this where people are given a scenario that is generally considered unpleasant, undesired, right? And they are to use their imaginations and turn it around. See, my imagination goes like this. Now, this may not be true for you. So, again, your perception kung fu may be specific to you. It's the same gist of how it works. However, in your particular circumstances, how it is for your highest and greatest good may be different from mine. I'm just giving you some trends of how I see it. So my mind now goes to, oh, well, it's not desired. Let's see. Yes, I can feel some resistance to paying more money to a governmental organization who actually has not proven why they actually need the more money. Now, maybe there's good reasons for that. I just don't know what it is. So maybe this is an opportunity for me to be more cognizant of the why, right? Like of how does that all work? How does the taxes work? How, what are all these numbers on this page? What does it mean? If I'm going to be responsible for my money, I also may need to be responsible to learn more of what I in the past spreadsheets, numbers, not wanted to learn. So can I be open to the possibility of there's things that you don't know, Karen, and maybe if you did know them, that could serve you in other ways too. So then this might be an opportunity to go, okay, there are things I don't know. I don't really understand this. So I get an opportunity to learn more about this system or the government system or the money system. Now, I also have the benefit of thinking, wow, Karen, you actually know on some level that the money system is not working for all of humanity, right? That there is a lot of corruption in the money system. Not saying that this particular thing it is that. Then I might say, well, I don't really understand this. And I'm going to put some time and energy to learn more. So, for example, at Gemstone University, and I just did my membership there at the Pantera Vita Society at the lowest level. So that's just the educational level. Maybe it's time for me to learn about the world system, how this money system works. They have a whole series called The World System of Bondage, and on some level, I totally get that. It absolutely is a system that we have been born into, that we're so used to, we don't even know we're slaves to, or there's this bondage. And I'm a creator profile in Wealth Dynamics, so I just love to create new stuff, right? Some of this other research stuff, it's like, I'll learn that later. I'll learn it later. Well, maybe this 5,000 whatever hundreds of dollars tax bill that I got is the kick in the butt I need to go, it probably would be a really good idea for you, Karen Can, to understand how the world system of money and bondage actually works. Maybe this would help other people that you coach and train. And, if you understand it, maybe other people will understand it. Maybe you as a healer who has no interest really in that kind of stuff, you just want to heal the world. Maybe you could be open to learning more about this, because as you understand those things, you can actually do healing, whether it be on that or myself, and maybe other, spiritual people, healing type people may be interested to learn how the system actually works so they can be empowered to make a choice. I can't make a choice if I don't know what's going on. I can't make a choice if I don't understand how money systems work, like banking, blah, 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 right? I know little bits and pieces. It is not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is, of course, healthcare, medical wellness, right? The arenas of money and finance and banking, not so much. And I can be more open to that. So maybe this is a grand opportunity for me to be inspired to learn more of what I feel would be good to learn. And I have not been motivated to do that. Aha. See how that perception kung fu is, helping turn this around, right? The other thing, I'm going down this whole path of how I'm literally processing this. So you can just see an example and see if you can apply it to your own life, if it's helpful for you at all. The other thing is there is in the Pantera Vita Society, there is a full participation membership, which I have not chosen to do at this time. And that might change tomorrow. But the full participation membership is really on how to step by step do what's called a status correction. Now, this needs to be done properly, or you can deal with all sorts of nasty stuff, authority, whatever, if you don't do it properly. Now, it is involved. There is a lot of paperwork. A lot of it's internal. And that part I feel like I'm prepared for. It's just the paperwork part of it, not resonating yet so much. And because of the way things are changing in the world, it is my understanding from the teacher that this might be really simple in the future. Right? It may not take that many pieces of paper and all that kind of stuff as the old system is crumbling, a natural death or demise, as you will, and we can actually create a new system, which is why I'm really into sacred economy and those structures, right? If you've heard me talk about that. And so maybe this might inspire me to be self-responsible, and maybe to say, hey, If I do a full status correction, right, then I am part of this private society. We have our own governing rules. We have our own natural law, actually, is our universal natural law is law. And we have our own court system and eventually have our own money system. So in that system, I own my land, not lease it, if you will. Believe it or not, we kind of sort of do that. I'm probably using the wrong words, guys, so just don't quote me on it because I'm not an expert in this arena yet. And by changing my status, then the tax laws, if you will, that we so commonly, all abide by, they actually don't apply to the private society, right? So are there people that are perfectly functioning in society who don't have a driver's license yet drive cars? Yes. Are there people that function perfectly in our society that don't pay income tax in the US and run a business? Yes. And I'm not talking about people cheating, okay? It's not cheating. So when you have that status correction, it's like, well, if you realize that there's a lot of systems that are corrupt and you no longer want to, keep funding a corrupt system, then maybe it's up to me and my personal responsibility to learn more about that. And therefore, this might be the kick in the butt that I need to inspire me. I'm just giving you options. This is where we teach our monkey mind to actually solve the problem by giving it the right question. The right question, again, is the right meaning it works. How could this be for my highest and greatest good? Now, in our workshops, we actually do Kung Fu. So in our live workshops, I'm not going to give it away because you just have to experience it, but we actually do some Kung Fu and we show you kinesthetically in your body the difference between, resisting and avoiding and actually doing perception Kung Fu. And guess what? When you use perception Kung Fu, you get closer to what it is you wish to manifest because there's no resistance. Or if there's resistance, it releases immediately. And the resistance is what prevents you from manifesting what it is you truly want. And the reframe reliever is kind of an offshoot of perception Kung Fu. And the reframe reliever is basically a reframing of a so-called bad situation, unwanted, undesired situation into a potential better situation. So maybe I did a little bit of that, but it literally is reframing. Okay, so I'll give you a random example that's really common. So people have gone through childhood trauma, right? So we'll take abuse. We'll take child abuse. Someone's gone through child abuse. And so you could perceive one's life, or say it was Ginny. So we'll call it this person Ginny. Sorry, Ginny. So say Ginny has gone through, the name popped in my head. Say Ginny has gone through some child abuse. Now she has a choice to either stay in that victim mode and go, poor me, I went through child abuse. That's my life doesn't work. That's why I'm poor. That's why none of my relationships work out, because I've been abused and I have all these abused trauma energies. And I'm suffering from this. And those people never paid. They never got punished for all that abuse, right? Or she could do the reframe reliever and go, okay, I no longer wish to be a victim. I wish to be empowered. I am empowered. And somehow this could, how would this abuse situation serve me? How does it serve me? And then reframe that. Now you can't force this, right? So you can't say to somebody, you should reframe that, your abuse, to something better. No. Unless they're paying you good money to be their coach. That is not your role. You do it for yourself. So in this case, the reframe for Ginny might be, well, because I went through all of that, I can really and deeply empathize with other people that have gone through that and have a compassionate ear. And they really feel heard when they speak to me about that. Right? So that's like a gift. The second might be, you know what? I feel so passionate about helping young children that have gone through this type of abuse that I am going to create a whole program that benefits families and children that have been suffering from this kind of thing, and to help them clear their mental energies, their negative beliefs, their unworthiness, because I had to do that for myself. And now I've come to a different place. I feel a lot of peace, and I want to share that peace with people. So Candy Lightner, for example, I don't know her personally, but she founded MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Now, her son was killed by a drunk driver. So without that traumatic experience, she would not have thought of supporting other parents and mothers and getting laws changed, right? To support people and to help prevent future deaths in the future. So it's like the light, what do they call it? The silver lining, right? To a dark cloud. And one of the things is just, you do it for yourself, necessarily, unless you're a paid coach, doing it for other people. And it can be really, really powerful. So that's a reframe reliever, is really seeing what is the light aspect of this dark thing that happened to me. And it's an aspect of perception kung fu, which is everything there is to serve me. I don't know how, but it is. So if I have that as my, as kind of like the dominant energy in my awareness, then my mind can figure out how it serves me. And then the resistance is let go, the emotions are let go. You see things in a completely different light. You pretty much are manipulatable. Anyway, whatever that word is, people can't manipulate you. Okay. Because when you get attached to something, when you have resistance to something, when you think it should be one way instead of another, that's when people can manipulate you, whether that be people, family members, corporations, governments, whatever. You can't be manipulated if you're neutral about everything and you see everything. Even if you're like, I got entities attached or something like that, you're like, well, yeah, that not totally not comfortable. How does that serve me? Well, I know the difference between when there's an entity and when there isn't an entity, and I can share that with my grandchild or whoever, right? Or I can learn to be in the frequency of love and elevate my light score and love score. And these entities need my help. Maybe they need my help, and maybe that's why they're here, right? So there's all these different ways in which you can use your mind in a positive way. And I don't mean positive by faking positive, but really just reperceiving reality is serving you. So I know I talk really fast. Probably worse. I don't know if it's worse on live or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so if you are live with me, and if anything I have said has confused you, or maybe you're like, woo, thumbs up, right? And by the way, if you're on my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I do a new video, you'll be notified. Yeah, go ahead and comment below, and even if it's not live, go ahead and comment below. Happy to see what it is you have a question, answer your question based on my perception, may be helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the comments that we have here live. So let's see. Denise says, you look more beautiful and younger than before. What's your secret? Oh, thank you. Yeah, what do you mean, what's my secret? You know my secret, right? Well, first of all, perception kung fu is a great secret. Then I got all sorts of things, right? I'm a wellness professional. That's my job. And of course, those LifeWave patches help a lot too, right? And it's reverse aging. So yeah, so lots of things, great attitude, love of life, diet, everybody says diet and exercise, but it's a lot simpler than what it looks like, eating whole foods. Not that I don't cheat, I do from time to time, but blessing every bit. So blessing every single experience I have. And of course, having amazing tools, whether that be, bone broth or everything else you see in the Healthy Habits, Healthy Life video, right? That's all reverse aging. And my favorite, one of my favorite tools, of course, is the phototherapy patches from LifeWave, the stem cell enhancing patches. They help a lot. Actually cleared up all my, the zitty stuff on my skin, all the bumps on my arms and legs. That was way back when we had the glutathione patches only. And now that we have the X39, X49 stem cell patch, we have the carnosine healing patch, we have the glutathione detox patch, right? Aloe Vera skincare patch. Yeah. And you know what? I do not actually don't have a filter on this camera, believe it or not. So you know how Zoom, there's a filter, you can make yourself blurrier. I actually do not have this set. I got it. I believe I have it down to 0, or should be down to 0. Yeah. So every time I do a Zoom, something like that, it's just me, myself, and I, most of the time without makeup these days. I used to keep Maybelline in business. Now I'm thinking, No, thank you. Just kidding. I'm not really having that reaction. Just wanted to be funny. Okay. Happy New Year to you guys. Meredith, yes, it's so helpful. Thank you. Look at the other sides. Yes, absolutely. Some more thumbs up. Love the background. Become a mermaid. Yes, and I just made myself my floating mermaid. This is called I call it the floating mermaid necklace. It's on a stretchy cord, and you just like pull it over your head. I pull it over my head, and I just made this because I just became in my sacred economy mandala, I just became the water mama. So I thought I'd have a water theme. I made myself, some water bracelets. Kind of quite crazy with macrame lately. Yes, which I'm anxious to do once I get off this call. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Yes. What if you're feeling okay? So I'll imagine that's you. So, what if I'm feeling trapped in an apartment with no resources to move out right away, and there's an infestation of rats and mice? I'm in my rope. Okay, how do I reframe this? Okay, yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. First of all, you can say, well, what opportunity does this give you, right? So, one of the opportunities I can see right away is that we manifest literally out of the ethers, out of the no thing. If now, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I believe that, that's okay. But does it harm you to actually play with that concept? Probably not, right? So you might say, okay, so how would this serve me? Well, first of all, you have a contrast. You know what you do not prefer, right? What you are not preferring to experience. Now, here's the thing. What's fascinating is that I live in the country and I live in a house that was built by my ex-husband. And it's a beautiful house. We're in the middle of 5 acres of woods. Uh, in the past, it was not uncommon for us to have 11 mice in 1 week. Now, there's two ways of looking at it, right? You can say, oh, mice, rats, that's squalor. Oh my gosh, it's like, and feel really bad about ourselves. And then you realize, wait a second, there's people living in really nice homes that have the same issue. Not to say that it's preferred. Nobody's saying it's preferred, right? We're just saying, okay. So if I did have well, I guess the taxes decided it was closer to $500,000 now, not quite, but my house is worth 400 and something thousand now. So it's like, okay, well, so a $463,000 house has mice too, and carpenter ants, and very interesting little guys that like to hang out with us. So therefore, you can just like release. So your job may be to release the emotions attached to what has manifested in the past. Remember, it's in the past, right? So we manifest from the now into the future. So just changing your perspective of that can be really helpful. Now, as far as feeling trapped, then you actually have your home play right there. Is like feeling trapped is literally like a body feeling, an emotional feeling, but a body feeling as well. So the thing is, unless you want to continue manifesting more feeling trapped, right, which none of us prefer, the question would be asking the mind, how do I feel free, even in the situation that I am in right now? And then your mind goes, what? Right. Now that could be a book from the library. That could be, being on a bunch of podcasts around that mindset stuff. That could be going to like one of my mini healings, right, in my light medicine community, with that intention, because our dominant state of beingness, whether that's frustration or joy, actually informs the universe of what to give us. So there's a lot that you can be. I know people will say do, but there's a lot you can be in the vibration of what it is you desire. Not to say that you don't have challenges. Absolutely, get support, get help. Sometimes it means, hey, asking for support and help. Sometimes it's being willing to receive a no because it's just not the right time or not the right connection, for that person to support you. But in the asking, you've grown. In the letting go of attachment, you've grown. Like there's all this amazing seed and fodder for growth here. So it's like, how do I see myself as empowered and not a victim, right? Lots of juicy stuff there. And actually I did a Light Warrior Radio with a beautiful gal from, it was called From Welfare to Millionaire. So, and I can maybe post that in the link afterwards here. And I would say listen to, whatever, you're like, well, I don't have a lot of monetary resources right now to invest. Fine. Get on those mini healings, right? There's not just mine, read some books from the library, go and, listen to these podcasts. And obviously, you have the resources to be online. So that's really great. So there's all these things, and a really good coach will never tell you what to do, but actually have you turn back to yourself and ask, what would you prefer to do in this moment, given the wider opening of your mind to what's possible. Because we always like this, blindfolds. It does sometimes really, really help to have a coach or a mentor or a healer, that knows this kind of stuff to work with each of us. And we do what we can. I know when I was $250,000 in debt, I was like, okay, well, I guess I get in more debt. What's the difference, right? Like, I'll just get in more debt to get the mentor to help me out of this. But the one thing I did have was trust in myself, given all the stuff I did with my body and my health and healing, and realized, okay, I have value. I know how to be tenacious. That's a really great personality trait. So yeah, maybe I'll go down more money, but if I get help, and someone supports me and can help me with my mind frick, and help me see something that I don't see, and they're successful, so why do I not emulate them, right? And trust in the universe to support me in that. And that's a really big piece. So thank you so much for sharing that vulnerable piece. Thank you so much, Sharon. Mahalo, great way to start 2023. Yay. Yes. Oh, yes. You're very, very welcome. Awesome, guys. So great to check in with you all. I know this scarf does not go with my superheroes t-shirt today. Yes. We're gonna do 2023 with non-matching themes here, but that's okay. I feel like a superhero. What can I say? So love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. In the description, there is a whole playlist that you can link to that is forever, on the web, all 52 weeks of Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. See what resonates with you. Try it out. You don't have to try anything, but see if it works out for you. Certainly the Perception Kung Fu Reframe Reliever is huge. It's been huge in my life. It's given me so much joy and freedom. Talk about inner freedom. It really, really has. So I do, wish you the very best for a very, very happy, prosperous 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to, feel free to comment below. And if you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up if you like this video. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.